Welcome back to Validated Golf. Today we're just going to hit you with a short video going over something most people buy new every year. You're probably thinking driver, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. In my past videos, I've played the OG Sim Max and an 8 degree, which is a tour issue head. Obviously, I was not given it by any, rep from TaylorMade or anything like that. I'm a blue collar guy, like I always say, and I find this stuff on my own. And I had been playing it. It wasn't the longest driver ever, but it was forgiving and it was low loft. I'm kind of a high spin guy, hit down on the ball, so I usually drop loft a little bit. Usually gets it out there pretty good for me, but I'm always searching for more distance, And I've played the Paradigm Triple Diamond. You guys saw I had the Cobra Max K for a while, knocked the loft down in that. It was good. It was a good honeymoon phase. Like I say, everything works great if you believe in it. It just spun too much for me. Every once in a while, I'd catch one good and it'd go long, But I think I found a driver that most amateurs are terrified to play, but they want to play it. And you guys know I'm a pretty decent golfer, but I'm not a great golfer by any stretch of the imagination. I do not hit the middle of the face all the time. My miss is usually, my living spot on a driver is kind of that high toe, just, high middle. And it seems to knock spin off for me, which is great because, like I said, I'm a high spin driver player. But the driver I'm talking about, I kind of laid low on it. I didn't want to do any crazy videos on it because, I kind of hate the videos where everyone's like, oh, this driver is low spin. It's low spin for you. Everybody's different. Everyone's subjective. But what I can tell you is if something has been much more forgiving for me and easier to hit and confidence inspiring and everything like that. But once again, it's all subjective and individual. But the driver I'm talking about is from the Titleist GT range. So I'm sure you guys saw I posted a short not too, probably 4 months ago, maybe 3.5, 4 months ago. I decided to pick one of these up. Obviously, I hit it in the store, did some testing. I got the Rapsodo in here, and it was just as fast as anything else, really. The big thing I found is the mishits were so much better than I could ever imagine from like a tour player's driver. We can go ahead and unwrap this thing and I'll just show it to you. But I play typically minimum once a week, sometimes twice a week. And this is the only driver I have played for, like I said, the last 3.5, 4 months. And I have not polished it up or anything like that. This is how it looks. I've been playing it. There's a few marks on it. Is what it is. But I have this in the standard weight, so I'll get close so you can see the settings here. So this is a Titleist GT3, as you see here. So you can see my T marks. Like I said, I'm usually a toe side guy. I have the factory weight in the middle, the 8-gram weight. Show you the face here. So you can kind of see I live, out kind of toe side. You see all these T marks. A lot of times I find my strikes up in here. So that for me, like most people know, is going to drop spin, lose a little ball speed, but the lower spin usually gives me more distance. This is in an 8 degree. So let me there you go. So you can see it's a little scuffed up. Like I said, I've had it a while. I didn't clean it or anything for this video, so you could just see how it looks regularly. And I'm playing it in a B2 configuration. So I believe B2 is, I know it's upright. I can't remember off the top of my head the exact setting. You could look at the Titleist driver chart and see. But I'm telling you, this driver has been, I usually steer. I am not a Titleist guy. I promise you. I know I have the Den Caddy in here. My wife got that for me for Christmas, just for like the little, lab we got here. And, but I have always been so afraid of Titleist drivers. I tried the TS3 back in the day, could not get along with it. I hit the TSI one time. A friend of mine had it, hit it at the range for a while. Sorry, I'm digging back in the memory bank here. That's why I'm looking off. And it was not bad, but it wasn't great. Nothing from Titleist at the time could knock my driver out of the bag. And then I hit the TSR3, and I was like, it was good. It was a very good driver. Obviously, a ton of people are still playing it. But I'll be honest with you, I was afraid of it. Like, that driver, for some reason, I was like, man, if these pros are playing it, if every pro is playing the TSR3, I'm not good enough for that driver. And I usually steer away from drivers that have the weight in the back, which is what the TSR3 has. They had a weight track that would go along the back here. I know you know somebody that has one, or you've hit one, or you owned one, because the TSR3 took Titleist to the freaking moon with drivers. But that being said, like I said, I've tried the Paradigm Triple Diamond. It was a very long driver. I really enjoyed that driver, but if you're not hitting it out of the middle, it was not forgiving enough for me. But anyway, so I know quite a few people at the local golf stores here and get their honest feedback. And I heard great things online about the GT3 and like everybody else on the forums and all that good stuff. I don't get anything early, like I said, I'm not sponsored. But the first thing they said, they're like, oh, we can't really say much, but I'm telling you, it's really good. And I was, I don't know, we'll see. So I went and hit it, and first few swings in the store, like I said, I'm not sponsored, so all this stuff is, I either find it cheaper online, or I trade in something and buy it new. And the first few swings, the ball speed, I was like, okay, that's different, knocked up 2 or 3 miles an hour. My swing speed was the same. Like I said, I got the Rapsodo Pro in here, so I do have a way to test stuff, and I know my numbers for the most part. Like I said, I'm high spin driver guy. I live in the, high 2000s, which I hate. Bad miss hit, I'm 3000s all day long, spin-wise. But this thing was a few miles an hour faster, and I was spraying it all over the face, hitting the stock shaft in the store. And it was just, I was like, man, this thing just felt amazing. It was confidence inspiring. I was hitting them off the toe, and the ball was still going straight and long. I hit a few Healy shots, and it wasn't that big looping cut. And I was like, man, I might have to give this thing a shot. So obviously I bought one. I'm not going to kill you with everything that, all the crazy tech talk that everyone else does. But I'm telling you, you are good enough to play this driver. I'm telling you. If you are a higher spin player, this forward weight that they have on this GT3 has dropped spin tremendously. It is so fast all across the face. I mean, this thing is just unbelievably, it's confidence inspiring. I don't know what else to say. And it just sits so square and so good, even if it's in an upright position or anything like that. But I can just go over it quickly, setup with you. Like I said, I got a GT3. It came with I think it was a Tennessee White X-Flex 65 gram. I usually don't do well. I am an X-Flex guy. I'm in the 110, 112 swing speed range. That's just cruising normal driver speed. And I just don't get along with heavier shafts. So that shaft is almost, I think, in the 70 gram range once you actually get it on a scale. So I'm more of like a 60s guy. I like a low 60 gram shaft, kind of mid 60s. But anything higher than that I usually it gets late. I get laboring. I get tired throughout the round. Getting on that back nine, I start losing shots right because I just can't hold up the speed with that heavy of a shaft. But anyway, so you've heard me talk about this shaft before. I'll show it to you. So this is a UST Mamiya. This is a LINQ Purple shaft. So it is a 6F5, which is a 60 gram X-Flex. And this is kind of what they call like a mid-low launch and then a mid-low spin. So this is a little higher spinning of a shaft than I usually like to play. The shaft I've been fit for is over there. You can see all those shafts in the corner there. was I really get along with the hazardous black. I had the Gen 4 60 gram X Flex, and it was very consistent. I mean, I would hit a lot of fairways with it, but I did lose distance for some reason. It was like I couldn't, the kick point just wasn't right for me. And I had this exact shaft in a 70 gram, and that's back when I was a little, you know, a little stronger. And it was the longest shaft I'd ever played in any driver. I hit multiple drives, 300 yards. If I caught it out of the middle with that 70 gram purple shaft, it was a rocket ship. And I was like, man, there's something to this design of shaft, you know. And I played it for a long time and just struggled bad with, you know, getting tired throughout the round, you know, those 100-degree days out here in Florida, Central Florida, Orlando. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a 60 gram. So I did. So far, it's been amazing. I'm hitting the ball just as far as I was with the 70, but I'm not getting as tired. And other than that, I'm telling you, this driver, do not be afraid of it. There's a ton of tour pros that are playing this driver, but I do not see many of them on the course. I see a lot of the, the GT1s and the GT2s. They're more forgiving model. I'm telling you, this face tech that they have with this GT range is absolutely insane. I mean, this thing, I'll show you the top of it. It's got some dings and, you know, scuffs on it. A lot of that, like there's one right there. So you can see where my thumb is. I know you see my garage in the reflection there. That's okay. But it's been a great driver. It's very durable. When you put this thing on the ground, it, you know, down there 45¼ inches away or whatever length you play your driver, you can't even see any stuff on the head. If you do, it's like finger smudge. You just wipe it off. But if I had any gripes with it, it would be, I wish there was a matte crown. I'm not a gloss guy. I don't like the gloss head, but the driver performs so well that it's not going anywhere. It's going to take one hell of a driver to get this driver out of my bag. No matter what shaft I have tried in this head, I mean, like I said, you see those shafts over there. I've tried a Rogue Green X-Flex, the purple, the LINQ Purple, the Hazardous Black, the Tennessee White, an Acura TZ 65 gram X-Flex, the black shaft with the silver rings on it. And every one, the driver just performed. I might lose a little distance, gain a little distance, but lose control. But no matter what shaft I put in it, it was like, you know, like let's call the driver the tires on an F1 car. The car is going to perform no matter what. You know what I mean? The shafts are going to perform. They're the car. They're going to perform. They're going to drive those tires. And whether the tires hold up or not is another story. And this head is a brand new set of tires. And it always held up. It always had the right response, the right grip, the right angle, everything. It was just whether the conditions were right coming out, if that makes any sense. But ultimately settled on the LINQ Purple. And like I said, this Titleist driver's not going anywhere. I'm telling you, everything about it is good. You've seen a ton of reviews with numbers. You know, they got a nice head cover here. Head cover's held up fantastic. So there's no blemishes, no nothing. And I play a lot of golf, I'm telling you. I do have a standard Lambkin Hybrid ST. This is the +2. So I do play a little bit of a fatter grip. Let's see. There you go. So I actually play the +2 with 2 wraps of tape under it. And that's mostly just to keep the weight down, but I like the fatness of really close to a mid-sized grip. Play that same thing on my irons as well. But other than that, I mean, I'm telling you, do not be afraid of this driver. I've seen so many, oh, I can't hit that driver. I can't hit it. I'm telling you, driver is my problem. And I hit the absolute hell out of this driver. I've hit so many fairways with this thing that it just inspires confidence just based on the results it's providing me. And I do not hit the middle of the face. I'm telling you, I'm all over the place on some days, and I still get away with it, and still I'm able to shoot in the mid to low 70s. So For me, fairways means low scores. If I'm missing fairways, I'm struggling. You're catching those flyer lies, some lies you can't even get to the green and 2 on. I mean, that's when the score starts ramping up. So driver is very important. Obviously, putting and short game is too. But it all starts off the tee. So I just want to give you my feedback, my experience, let you know, I'm telling you, don't sleep on the GT3. I see a lot of guys, they get those, they hit the ball, they got a ton of speed, they get that high spinny fade going. I mean, and they're scared of this, or they go to the GT4. This thing is, I would argue, as forgiving as the GT2, but as long as the 4. I mean, this thing is an absolute missile. My friend Caleb, you hear me talk about him, we play pretty much every weekend. He hit this thing with an X-Flex shaft, and he's a stiff shaft guy. He doesn't swing as fast as I do. He's very close, hits the ball long, very low spin player, good launch. And he hit this last weekend with this configuration. He's hit it a multitude of times with whatever shaft I have in it at the time. And he just, every time he just goes, wow, like I never thought I'd be able to hit a driver with that low of loft that distance. And it just comes out lower for him because of his attack angle and all that stuff. But he still hits it long. He still spins it low, but it maintains spin. He's an extremely low spin player. He's playing the new Elite. I think it's the standard model in a draw configuration, 10.5 degree, and he's hitting an 8-degree driver, and it's getting out there with his. It's just taking it from this window to this window, but he's still getting that low spin in the roll, still in play, controllable. And I'm telling you, don't sleep on Titleist. I always did. I was always scared of their stuff. It's the only thing Titleist that I own, and so far it's been amazing. It's not going anywhere. But that's my feedback on the GT3. Don't be afraid of it. Test it. You may be surprised. See ya.